Hey there guys, welcome to the next video here on the channel, and welcome to the second day of bow week here on the channel. In this video I'm going to show you guys how to make a duct tape bow ring. They're a lot simpler to make and a lot easier to make than the flower rings that you traditionally see in the duct tape world, and they're actually fairly similar to the bows that we made yesterday for the duct tape hair clip here. So let's get started here on the tutorial. So for this tutorial I'm going to be using the Union Jack duct tape as well as the electric blue, and you're not going to need any other accessories besides, duct tape for this tutorial, which is always awesome. You're not going to need like any hair clips or any other accessories, just duct tape. So for our first step, we're going to cut out 6 strips of duct tape that are all 2 inches long. Now since the height of duct tape is 1.88 inches, when you cut out a strip that's 2 inches long, it's going to be almost exactly a perfect square, and that's exactly what we want. We need 6 total, and like in the other bows, which I did here the other day, where the inside color is just one color and then the outside is the same color, that's what I'm going to be doing for this one. You can make your bows, any colors you want to. I typically don't make them all the same color, I like all 3 pieces, because it doesn't really show off the bow part of it very well, and that's typically, just my opinion. But you can make them any colors you want to. There's going to be a Union Jack on the top and bottom, as well as the electric blue here in the middle. So all we're going to do is start taking our strips and we're going to stick them together directly on top of each other. So there's our first one. And you might need to do like any trimming. Make sure that you obviously line them up correctly. I'll show you that in just a second, because since these aren't perfect squares, there is, a side to it. They're just, really square looking rectangles more or less by just a little bit. So you always want to make sure to flip this, just like over like that, not like that, because that'll change the dimensions a little bit and you'll have to do a little bit of trimming. So, and we're going to stick this down just like this. Then you can take a pair of scissors and do any trimming if you need to. I stuck these on pretty well, but you always maybe need to do a little bit of trimming, just to trim off any of that, little sticky sides or anything like that. So once you do that, we'll start to move on to our next step. Once we have our 3 pieces trimmed, we're going to take our pair of scissors once again, and we're going to round all of the edges on each of our squares here. Try to round them all the exact same way. I mean, it's not going to be, too terribly important if they aren't perfect, but you definitely want to round them all so they look pretty much like this here. So you can also use this as your template if you want to hold this down onto your next piece to make sure they're all the same. You can do that once you get a good cut on the first one. So do that, round the edges for these 2 as well. Once they're all rounded into these cute little circles, we're going to take our first piece, and this is where the typical bow, folding or creasing comes into play. We're going to fold this in half just like this. Make sure it's even on the top. Give that a good crease. Then we're going to take this piece and we're going to fold that down right to the bottom and line that up on the bottom. Give that a good crease, flip the whole thing over, fold this down to the bottom once again, and crease that down as well. And you can do this process with these other 2 as well. Once we have our 3 pieces creased, and we're going to cut a small 1/4 inch long piece of tape right there. Make sure it's just, about a 1/4 inch. You don't want to make it too big, but you also don't want to make it too small. So we're going to take our 3 pieces, we're going to line them up together just like this, just like we did yesterday with the other bow hair clip tutorial. Make sure they're all the same. Sometimes, you end up, they won't all be exactly the same length on either side. You can do a little bit of trimming to make sure they're all the same, but you want them to be, roughly identical. It's not going to be a huge issue if they aren't. So once you get them all lined up, all vertically and horizontally, we're going to take a piece of tape, find the center of this piece here. Sometimes it takes a little bit of doing, but that looks to be right in the center. And of course you can make this strip any color you want to. I usually make it the color of the 2 outside strips, but it's totally up to you. I'm going to wrap this all the way around so it's good and tight, and then you'll have that right there. At this point we want to flex the sides because we're going to be connecting them together. So you want to take the 2 top edges here and kind of push them together just like this. Don't worry how it looks or anything, just hold these together for a little while, get them used to being creased like that, and then we'll take a few small strips and connect them in the next step. So definitely get those used to being open like that. Now at this point we're going to make the ring band. What we're going to do is take a strip of tape that's about 4 inches long. We're going to cut a small segment of that out. Then we're simply going to just wrap this on top of itself like this, fold it over on top of itself. Make sure that there aren't any sticky sides showing. It's always good to make it a little bit longer, then you can always trim it down, because if you make it too small you can have to add on to it, or just have to cut another one. So then I'm going to do is cut another small strip of tape, very much like the one we wrapped around the bow here, and we're going to flip the bow over. You can definitely tell the top of the bow from the bottom. Put this right in the center, and then we're simply going to connect this piece here. And then this of course will be wrapped around the front just like the connecting part of the bow did. Just like that. And there we go. Then we're going to take another piece of tape here, which is about 1/4 of an inch, wide, and then we're going to cut that into 3 different pieces. We pretty much only need the 2 pieces here, and then these are going to connect these 2 pieces here. So we're going to take our hobby knife here, put half of it on this piece here, make sure that's good and stuck down. Then we're going to fold this over like this, and these want to kind of connect in the center. And you want them to be right up against each other, and then attach the other piece of the strip there to the other side. Then you can kind of pinch them together from the other side, and they should, end up just like that. Then of course we want to do the exact same thing on the other side. Make sure it's good and stuck down. Send it together. Sometimes you need to put it a little bit towards the top because you want the bow to be as open as possible. So we're going to stick that down like that. Come to the other side. Make sure it's good and stuck down. And there we have pretty much our bow ring. From here it would be great to have a helper or someone that can mark the ring band so that you can wrap a strip around it. This is obviously a lot longer than it needs to be, but like I said before, you can always trim it down. So once you have, someone mark it like with a pen or something, you just wrap that to the piece that you want it to be. Take a small strip of tape here, and then we're simply going to connect this piece together. And this, of course, will be the ring band. So that part will get wrapped around like that. And then this part can go around just like that. And there we have it. So hopefully you guys liked the tutorial. There's obviously a whole bunch of different colors you can make these in, and a bunch of different styles. You're pretty much only limited by the amount of colors of duct tape that are out there, which of course are tons of colors. Some of the problems you might encounter is that these two parts of the bow will kind of pop apart. You can usually remedy that by using just a larger strip on the top and bottom, and then just kind of pushing them together every now and then. That'll keep them from popping apart. But it's definitely a really cool looking creation, and hope you guys liked the tutorial. I'll catch you tomorrow for yet another tutorial on Bow Week. So hope you liked the video.